Welcome back, everyone. As most of you guys may know, the iPhone 12s have just came out, and I wanted to compare it against a phone that I'm sure a lot of you guys may not even think these two are competitors, and they're really not. The iPhone SE2 is a $399 phone that Apple released, and I think it's a great phone for the most part for the price tag, but the iPhone 12 is costing $829. So should you pick up the iPhone 12? Should you get the SE2? I'll definitely tell you, if you're on a budget, then get the SE2. But if you're not on a budget and you can spend all the money in the world, get the iPhone 12. That's really pretty much how I would sum up this video. But I'll find the cheapest ones of both these and link them down in the description below. You can get them from there and help support the channel at the same time. Now, side by side, you can see that there is quite a bit of difference in terms of the body size and also just the way they look. We still have the home button on this phone and quite a bit of bezel. The iPhone 12 is that newer design with the flat sides, which do look really good. But in terms of the panels themselves, the iPhone SE2 has that 4.7-inch panel. It's a little bit pretty much over HD, which is nice. And I think for a kind of budget-esque phone, I don't think it's horrible. Like, I think, it has True Tone on it and it looks okay for the most part, but definitely in this day and age, it would have been nice had they decreased the bezel a little bit, even on a budget device. You look at Samsung Galaxy's A series, you look at the OnePlus Nord, and a ton of other phones in the market. Like, it just doesn't make any sense why Apple did this. I mean, of course, they had to keep that $399 price tag, but they're selling the iPhone XR at $499, so I don't know why they chose to still do it like this, but I guess it's whatever. Now you do have the home button on the front as well as quite a bit of bezel on the top and bottom. The panel itself isn't bad, but it's the fact that it has all this bezel around it that definitely doesn't make it look the best. Now the iPhone 12 on the other hand has a 6.1-inch OLED panel, and for sure this is one of the biggest assets for it when you're coming from an iPhone SE2 or when you're comparing them both. This panel is definitely better looking and it's just a better panel. It's a higher resolution panel. You have that notch and very little bezel around the whole entire display. And because of the flat sides, it makes the phone feel that much more, I guess, bezel-less in a way, which is a humongous asset for this device too. So in terms of the front panels, for sure the iPhone 12 is the better one 100%. I guess the SE2 is good enough for a lot of people too, but in terms of the front, the SE2 is definitely not as good as the 12. In terms of thickness on the side, you can see the iPhone 12 has that flat side. The iPhone SE2 has that curved side, and I actually think the SE2 is thinner actually than the iPhone 12. But even if it's not necessarily thinner, it still feels thinner because of the curved sides. There are some pros and some cons for this flat side. It makes the phone feel thicker because it's the same thickness throughout, whereas on the iPhone SE2, the thickest part is like back here because of the thickness. The curved side isn't really, it's kind of a curve, so you don't really feel the thickness. So I'll probably say the SE2 is thinner. And on the back, you can see dual camera setups on both. The iPhone SE2 has a 212 megapixel camera setup. We'll get into the megapixels and everything, but they have pretty much the same type of glass back. One isn't frosted or anything. Now, believe it or not, these both are the white versions of both phones. The SE2 just comes in white on the back anyway. And look how much warmer this color looks on here. I don't really understand it, but just kind of funny that they're both white, but this one looks so much more tan. Now, we do have IP certification on both, but we can go up to 6 meters of water for 30 minutes on the iPhone 12, which is really, really awesome. You also have that MagSafe capability on the back of the iPhone 12. The SE2 doesn't have it. Is it a big deal? It's totally up to you, but in terms of the outside, that really pretty much covers it up for the most part. Now, in terms of the software standpoint, because the SE2 has a year-old chipset at this point, I'm going to probably assume that the iPhone 12 is going to last longer than the SE2. It's still not a big deal. Both these phones are going to be supported for a very, very long time from now. But if I had to say one was going to outlast the other one, the iPhone 12 is going to outlast the SE2, but that's still not going to be a problem until several years from now. I'm talking like 3-4 years, and then we're probably going to be able to see some differences or whatever. And at that point, I'll probably start making videos like the SE2, is it going to get iOS 12 or 20 or whatnot? Like, we'll figure it out there. But in terms of software, that pretty much covers it up. Now let's go and do a speed comparison between them. The iPhone SE2 has that Apple A13 Bionic chip with 3 gigabytes of RAM. The iPhone 12 has that Apple A14 Bionic chip with 4 gigabytes of RAM. So let's go and see which one is the faster one between both of these. Okay, now let me go and clear out all these apps in the background. There's only one on this phone, and I will have to turn up the brightness on this phone. It's a little low. Okay, now it may be a little bit too high. Let's do phone call 3, 2, 1. Okay, about the same on both. We can go into Safari, and we can go ahead and load up Bing or something. 3, 2, 1. And both were almost identical. They were actually almost exactly the same. We can go and do the App Store. 3, 2, 1. And you can see the iPhone 12 was actually faster there. Scrolling through, you will probably see that they're probably going to be the same. I haven't seen too many scrolling speed differences between the A13 chip and the A14 for the most part. Now, as usual, I have a ton of these third-party apps that we can go ahead and get into. Let's do Fruit Ninja. 3, 2, 1. And you can see the iPhone 12 is actually quite a bit of ahead on the iPhone SE 2. And these are the bigger differences that I'm hoping to see between these devices. Let's do Facebook, 3, 2, 1. Okay. Twitter, 3, 2, 1. And definitely the iPhone 12, I think, was a little bit faster, noticeably faster than the other one. Stack, 3, 2, 1. And the iPhone 12 was the faster one. I thought for a second that the iPhone SE 2 was going to win there. Gameplay wise, the iPhone 12 actually crashed there. I don't know why that happened. That was very, very weird. Paper IO, let's do Snake Force Blocks, 3, 2, 1. And you can see iPhone 12 was a little bit faster there for sure. And I'm seeing pretty much a faster device on the iPhone 12 right now. It did glitch up a little bit there, but I'm still seeing the SE2 perform pretty well for sure. Thank you, 3, 2, 1. And again, the iPhone 12 is the faster one, but the iPhone SE2 literally right behind it. Not a ginormous difference at all, in my opinion. Let's go and do Netflix, 3, 2, 1. And the iPhone 12 was the faster one there again. Quizlet, 3, 2, 1. And again, the iPhone 12 was the faster one there as well. Temple Run 2, 3, 2, 1. And you can see the iPhone 12 is looking to be faster. The SE2 a little bit behind. Again, not like a deal breaker or anything, but we're definitely seeing improvements here. Kind of a little bit of a pop up here, but definitely for sure the iPhone SE2 just slightly behind it right there. Instagram, 3, 2, 1. iPhone 12 faster, SE2 a little bit behind. Let's do Paper IO 2, 3, 2, 1. And again, iPhone 12 is the faster one. iPhone SE2 a little bit behind. Again, maybe not a big deal or a deal breaker or anything, but still something to kind of keep in mind. Gameplay, I think, would be about the same. I've been seeing it to be about the same on all devices. Snapchat, 3, 2, 1. iPhone 12 faster. iPhone SE2 a little bit behind. And we can go and end it off with the Road Racing 3. And that was such a long, awkward silence. I don't know what else to say. I'm just waiting until they load. And the SE2 may actually be a little bit faster here. Who knows? And the iPhone SE2 was just slightly ahead of the iPhone 12 there. Very, very surprising. That was honestly a very good way or a weird way to end. So, I mean, to kind of sum up this video and say answer the question, should you pick up a speed comparison wise, which one is the faster one? I honestly think the iPhone 12 is more times faster than not of compared to the iPhone SE2. I would definitely say if you're getting one based off speed, the iPhone 12 is consistently the faster one. Sometimes it may be a little bit head to head, and maybe even sometimes the SE2 will beat it, but more times than not, that's what we have to look at. More times than not, on average, the iPhone 12 is the faster one. RAM management is looking to be way better on the iPhone 12 as well. The iPhone SE2 never really had that bad of RAM management, but compared to this phone, I mean, there's definitely some big problems. Both of them restarted here. iPhone 12 gave me into a really weird thing. I don't know where that took me. Let's go and go back into another one. Facebook, I guess this is. And again, I think Facebook was still on the iPhone 12. The SE2 restarted. So definitely when it comes down to the speed comparison aspect, the iPhone 12 is way faster and the RAM management is way better on the iPhone 12 as well. So that really pretty much covers it up there. Let's go and hit on the cameras. And like I said earlier, 12 megapixel sensors on both, 12 megapixel wide, 12 megapixel ultra wide. The iPhone SE2 has a 12 megapixel single wide angle lens. In terms of the user interfaces, you can see they're about the same. I feel like the biggest problem with the iPhone SE2 would probably be the front camera. We have a way better front camera on the iPhone 12, the 4K at 60, where the front camera on the SE2 is a little bit different, not quite as good as the front camera on the iPhone 12. The user interfaces are about the same. We have portrait mode on both cameras, which is still really cool, but probably when it comes down to it, I like the iPhone 12's camera immediately. Now with a phone like the iPhone SE2, I've always felt like this camera was pretty decent for the price tag. You can do 4K 60 on the back camera, and for pretty much a majority of tasks you're going to do, you're going to be perfectly fine with it. From a day-to-day aspect, if you're just making Snapchats and TikToks and all that stuff, I doubt anybody's trying to make a movie out of these things. They're just trying to quickly just make a video, maybe make a YouTube video and then move on with their life. And a camera like this, I think, as I've demonstrated before in a ton of camera comparisons, that this one is a perfectly good camera for a majority of people out there, but I would definitely say the iPhone 12 is the better camera. Not only are you, in my opinion, getting probably better camera sensors overall, but you're also getting that ultra wide sensor, which is really cool. Now, if you're going to use it, that's awesome. If you're not going to use it, okay, but at least you have the capability of using an ultra wide sensor here. You still have 4K at 60 on the back, and you have 4K at 60 on the front camera as well, which is a huge asset for the iPhone 12. So definitely when it comes down to the cameras, I will 100% do a full camera comparison between these. So I'll go ahead and do the outdoor videos, indoor video, all that stuff. But for this specific case, I will probably tell you the iPhone 12 may actually be the better camera here, and I think it's a given. The SE2 has a good camera for like a budget type phone, but this one is better in my opinion. Now ending it off with the battery life, the iPhone SE2's battery life is really not as good as the iPhone 12's. That's the best way I can put it. The iPhone SE2 has had I think that's probably the worst part about this phone. I will definitely do a full battery comparison between these. I should be starting them probably in a couple of days, so keep a lock down on the channel. I'm not going to forget to drop those. But to kind of sum up this video and to answer the question, should you pick up the iPhone 12, the SE2, vice versa, whichever one? I'll definitely tell you, if you don't have either one of these, 100% get the iPhone 12. This is the best phone right now in terms of this one or the 12 Pro, but these are the best iPhones. So, if you have all the money in the world, I would 100% recommend picking these up. But the SE2, I think if you're on an extreme budget, it's not a bad phone, but I'll tell you like this, you're getting a lot with this device. You're getting a great performance and iOS updates for a long time, a pretty decent back camera, and you have wireless charging and amazing build quality. It feels like a really good phone, but it just seems like for that price tag at $399, you could just get $100 more and get an iPhone XR, and I would just recommend getting an iPhone XR at least over an iPhone SE2. This design, for the most part, is probably its biggest problem. It just doesn't look as cool. It looks pretty outdated. It has a super outdated design, and I don't think anybody would look at this phone and be super happy with it, to be completely honest with you. Whereas on the iPhone 12, on the other hand, you're getting probably one of the best designed iPhones ever. The flat design on the sides, and it is noticeably better. And I think if anybody had a choice, they would automatically pick the iPhone 12. And this is one of those rare occasions that I would probably tell people that if you can't even get an iPhone 12, I probably still wouldn't recommend getting an SE2. You can still buy an iPhone XR or iPhone 11 brand new from Apple, and they are $100 and $200 more expensive. If you want to get a XR, it's $499. If you want to get an 11, it's $699 or $599. And I would 100% recommend that, dude. The SE2 is a great phone, but for $399, it's still a lot of money, bro, to be completely honest. And between these two, the 12 is the far better device. I would 100% recommend this one over the iPhone SE2. But if you have, or if you're on an extreme budget, I guess it's okay if this is the only phone you can get. But the fact that Apple's still selling the iPhone XR and the iPhone 11, it just makes me, recommend the iPhone XR or iPhone 11 over this device for sure. So that really pretty much covers it up. If you guys have any other questions or anything, let me know in the comment section below. Hit the like button, that would mean so much, but definitely hit that subscribe button. Every single subscriber that we get really does count, so it means so much if you guys can hit that. Also check out the other links down in the description as well. My Twitter, my Instagram, my other channels. More importantly than everything else, I love every single one of you guys. Hopefully I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace out.